All right, guys, I got to be honest. I'm a little bit worried about this lock. This is from Eric Lancaster. There's my key. I'll wrap it up there. I got a note. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to keep it off camera because he's got his phone number and email address, all that stuff. He says, Dear Bill, this is my first challenge lock. I've only been picking locks for about 8 or 9 months. So when I read that, I go, oh, this is not going to be a problem at all. He's probably got some spools in there, not a lot else. This would be easy. And then his next line starts, Farmer13 taught me a lot about what I know. You guys may not remember, but Farmer13 has earned a couple of those pack locks for Whipped It videos. So Farmer13 worked with Eric. He says he also helped me a lot with this lock. He practically held my hand for the entire process, and that's where my jaw just drops. He says, since I'm looking at locksmithing once I get out of the Navy, I call this lock Big Blue. Anyway, good luck. So the Team Eric / Farmer13 team went to work hand in hand on this thing. And that's kind of like what I like to see. It's lock sport. We're supposed to be sharing information. That's how we get, that's how we make locks better, make things more secure, and come up with the ultimate challenge locks. Anyway, let me go ahead and clamp this up and see if there's any way if I can get it in this or if I'm going to be giving away another one of my Whipped It pack locks. All right, guys, I am on my 3rd try on this. By the way, Farmer13 and Eric, let me see if I can find the bits for this. You caused me to break one of my favorite picks. This is one of the rare elements, the 13,000th. I don't know which hook it is, but luckily I do have a duplicate. I bought 2 of them, and thank goodness, because I think I'm going to be needing it. Anyway, pretty stiff. A couple of pins in here, pretty stiff, and I did manage to get a false set. And that's when I broke the tip on attempt number 2. So let's try to get it again with a brand new pick. I can go from the bottom because these are only 13th and I can get past that warding. So let's see what we got here. Okay, that was pin number 5, slight click. That was pin number 2, very slight click. That was pin 1, very slight click. I got super light tension. I learned that this probably has a lot of serrated in it. I have no fault set. And I have no feedback. Okay, there it is. Pin number 4, slight counter rotation. Got 1 click. Okay, that was pin 2. I got a very deep fault set. Wow. You know what? That might be open. I think the tailpiece might be hitting. Hold on. Nope, it's just a very deep fault set. All right, let's keep going at it. Try not to lose what I got. That's deeper than the one I had earlier, too. Tighten it up a little bit more. Somebody's got to give me some feedback. All right, I'm thinking at this point that there may be a T-pin in there somewhere really high that this is, believe it or not, even this one can't get at. So I'm going to take a risk, take this guy, and see if I can find a T-pin. Again, keeping the tension really light. And I just touched the last pin and I felt a little more turn on the core. And there we go. Woo! 3 tries, man. Farmer13, you almost had me again. All right, let's go ahead. Let me zoom this out so I can try to keep everything in frame. Get all this stuff out of here, all the broken picks. And let's gut it. Get this guy. Get the letter out of there. All right, let's take a look at the key. This is the part where I slice my hand. That's a Farmer13 key, no question. Get in there. Get in there. Maybe not. Let's give it a little tap. All right. I think we got a really strong spring. It does turn, but counterclockwise, but I picked it clockwise. It doesn't want to go clockwise, it doesn't look like. Trying to jiggle around with the key in and out a little bit, but it works with a key, and we got it picked, so clearly it's a valid challenge lock, but not so smooth in a clockwise direction. But it does work, so it is a valid lock. Let's see if we can go ahead and, well, I'm going to have to put that back in there, but let's go ahead and take the tailpiece off. It looks like a standard one, so I can use my tool from Jeff Moss. Thank goodness, we finally have a standard one. Everything lately has been some kind of odd teeth that I had to improvise with. All right. Try to get that key back in there. That went in a little easier that time. I'm going to have to turn it counterclockwise, though. Maybe I can turn it all the way around to the 90 where I like it, so the pins will be up. And let's see what we got. All right, I'm looking at two kind of T-pins there, number 5 and number 3. Number 1, 2, and 4 look standard, but maybe not. I'm going to try to pull, let's tell you what, I'm going to, rather than try, because of the extreme bidding, I hate to pull this out. I got a feeling those pins are going to fall out. So I'm just going to dump them with the key in it. Okay, we have serrated. We have a standard. We have a homemade T. Number 4 is serrated. And number 5 is a homemade T. I'm looking at serrations in 1, 2, and 4. Number 3 and number 5, no chain, no mods. All right, let's set that dude right there. Let me show you a close look at these T-pins. These are really well done. Somebody has a Dremel with some very fine files. Look at the sharp edge on that. Very nicely done. And these serrations also look homemade. Again, very nicely done. Nice and sharp. And this one, the spacing on this one is a little bit different, but still very nice, very sharp. All right, I'm going to set them there so I don't misplace them again. All right, let's see what we got. Number 1, homemade serrated. Okay, little copper spring. And that one was threaded. I can see it from here. Number 2 just barely pops. Look at that. Really weak spring in 2. Also serrated, homemade. There may or may not be a spring in 2. If he's in there, he's really small. But I think maybe no spring in 2. Number 3. There has to be a spring, though, because he was breaking the shear line. Number 3, you can see it's a little T-pin. And he also, look at that, just barely breaks that shear line. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get him with my standard tweezers. Let me use this micro tip. He's a very small diameter. Number 3's been wallowed out. Very sharp. Number 3. All right, let's flip it around. Okay, another one of these little T-pin guys. Why did I break a pick? Yeah, there, I'm starting to see now. Very strong spring. Probably from a Bic lighter. You guys, I never should have told you guys where to get these things. Or you never should have told me. Look at the diameter on that hole, though. So I get that to focus. Huge diameter hole right there for that pin. Let me grab him again. I'm just going to grab him and flop him around a little bit. Look at that, how much play is in there for that thing to flop around inside of that hole. A lot. So that would definitely give you some serious deep fault sets. All right, I'm looking at the last one, and nothing is breaking the shear line. And I'm wondering if it's because, there he is. Okay, it is a little serrated guy. And I'm just curious if it's because there's no spring in there. Okay, there's a spring. I think he came out of 2. I should have, yeah, 2 was breaking the shear line, but that one was all the way in the bottom, so I think I got that right. I'm missing 2 springs though. All right, let's go ahead and pop this and pull the cover off. I'm curious about widening the holes. How many of them were done? It looks like at least 2 of them. Come out of there. Okay, he's not coming out either. That thing is definitely wedged in there. We're not going to be able to... I don't know if he's glued in there or what, but he is definitely not coming out by himself. Let me try to pry him. There's a little bit of a... There we go. There we go. All right. He was really wedged. All right, I am going to go ahead and pop this off, and I can put a brand new one on it. All right, I'm going to ruin him. I'm just going to roll him off, just like a can of tuna. Okay, there's the other spring, and that is in number 4. So he was caught in that little top plate. And there's a spring. I think that's a spring in 2 as well. Yep. There's our spring from number 2. Really tight in there, but he was definitely in there. So that was from 3. So that's 3. And that one was 2, but they look to be identical. All right, now look at this. Look at the diameter of chamber number 1, and then compare it to 2, 3, and 5. So in 2, we had a serrated. In 3, we had a T-pin to allow him to flop around. And the last one I showed you, that was the example I used where that T-pin was flopping around inside of there. I think those would give you really deep fault sets, exactly like I had. So it was clearly one of those 3 chambers was hung up on a T-pin. So that narrows it down to chamber number 5 or chamber number 3. That was giving us that super deep fault set. Anyway, really interesting. This is the kind of thing I would expect from Farmer13. Although this picking only took a couple of minutes, that's because I had almost a full 20 minutes of failed attempts to get the feel of this lock. Anyway, Eric, great first attempt, even with Farmer13 holding your hand and helping you through it. Kept me busy. Anyway, guys, appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.